This episode brought to you by MeepleRealty.com, your source for high-quality custom board game inserts. Meeple Realty. Think inside the box.
Oh, and one more thing. We already know where the mistake was in that report, so don't waste your precious time looking for it.
You're unusually quiet today. Just to let you know then, the supplies are on their way, but please confirm the drop coordinates. We can adjust them if you let us know in advance. Also, we know why the data didn't add up. Unit conversion, you dimwits.
We know that already, and no, you can't use the old coordinates. We checked the ground and it's covered with a thick layer of fine dust. Attempting a crash landing there is a very bad idea. Our suggestion is 11.05 south, 102.17 west. Please verify.
Guys, please confirm the coordinates or we won't be able to change the trajectory on time.
We did. Didn't you get the message? So what's, hello? Hello? Can you hear us? Because this is getting disturbing now.
You know, we're busy here too, but do confirm the coordinates. Seriously.
Not sure if you'll get this message at all, but apparently we can hear you, but you can't hear us. We did a little research here and we have a suspicion why that may be. We'll try to set up an antenna on an elevated spot not too far from here. Hope this helps. For now it seems it's over and out.
Real quick before we get into the actual mission, let's take a look at this. So this is the campaign book. We're going to go here to mission 1. You don't ever really want to go farther because it might spoil some of what's going on. So what we've got right here are our mission objectives. And this one-sided communication is not going to get you very far. Something appears to be jamming your signals, voice and text alike. MCEI uses stronger emitters and their messages can get through. You've decided to build another antenna on a higher spot. The sooner you do that, the better. You want MCEI to know the new coordinates ASAP for this drop of supplies they're sending. If they change the trajectory too late, the cargo may land far out of your reach or worse. You're also considering expanding the farm. This may prove beneficial later on. All right, so the 1, 2, and 3. Erect a new antenna and connect it to the hub. Right, 1 through 3. Take the lay cables and erect a new antenna special actions. So basically, 1 out here and 2, both of these, we're going to lay cables from our research or from our home base, from where we live, out this way. And out here is going to be a point where we're going to actually build the antenna. All right. And then 1 and 2, collect the seeds you haven't gathered yet. Orange, number 1 and 2. Take the gather action on the ROIs, regions of interest is what that stands for, by the way, with the orange tokens. All right, to set up a new greenhouse, take this set up new greenhouse special actions until you have 1 greenhouse for each astronaut. Then take the research actions to plant seeds. All right, so that's a kind of secondary. Really, this is the important one. This is pretty important too for continued success in the campaign, as is this, because we're going to eventually run out of food if we don't do something about it. And over here you can see that we know that if we can get the antenna set up in days 0 through 5, the cargo will land on ring 1 west right here. Okay. If, on the other hand, it's Sol 6, will land on ring 1 west and ring 1 southwest here and here. So it'll be split up and in a spot that we're not sure exactly what's there. And then if it's Sol 7 is when we finally get the antenna set up, cargo will land on ring 1 southwest and ring 2 southwest here and here. And again, that's even worse because it's split up and it's farther out and we don't know what these are. And right now the plains are very favorable. There's nothing crazy going on here. But you know, over here, like if we could get a shell pit or something out here, or a canyon, something worse. And the more varied the terrain, you know, the more difficult it could be to get to these supplies that we really are going to want to have. And you can see we are on Sol 0 of 7. Here we go. Advanced malfunction. Okay, the living block is going to advance. You see advanced malfunction by 1 in the block indicated above, then tap the corresponding button to continue. So the living block advances. It is now at 2. Okay, nothing terrible so far, but these are gonna spin out of control. Just you wait. So living block. All right, so now, oh, by the way, I didn't mention before, our geologist, you can see right here, she's gonna be the first player now, and then it'll just go back and forth like that. So geologist is a new task. And what, is that her name? I guess that's her name. Eve Spichalski? Sure, why not? All right, May 5th, 2029. Log entry. So today, a new huge task begins. -1 morale. That's great. So up here, the morale track goes down by 1. Okay. Whoa, come on now. The first player discards, gains these tokens according to the current morale level. If they don't have enough to discard, they suffer 1 wound for each lacking token. So that token, by the way, the plus symbol, that is a morale token. Now, I don't have any morale tokens, which means I am going to actually suffer a wound, which, by the way, you can see that I have not placed the necessary red cube to track that, but this is where we're at full health. You can see the scientist over here is full health, as is the geologist. She's going to suffer a wound. Goes there every time the wound marker passes one of these hearts. That's going to be a stressor, I believe. What's it called? A condition or something along those lines. We will get to that when it happens, and believe me, it's almost certainly going to happen. This game, if I haven't mentioned before, is very difficult. Okay, so now moving on. Next phase, production phase. All right, check your oxygen and energy production. Okay, now at the start of the game, the oxygen and energy production is fine. Okay, as long as all this is green in the system block here, we're good to go. We don't have to worry about that. Then, but we do have to worry about our food production. All right, so we have 2 astronauts. We only have 1 plant. The plant will provide 1 food per astronaut. We only have 1, so we're going to have to eat 1 from our general supply, which drops our food down to 19. All right. And this also, you can see here, also would be the point where we would move any seeds we have up 1 space. That's referring to if we were growing any plants over there. But we're not going to grow plants until we have another greenhouse, because if we do, there's no place to store that plant. It doesn't do us any good. All right, so then increase stress by number of astronauts. All right, we have 2 astronauts. Increase it by 2. If there were other factors that were dealing with our stress here, we would do that as well right now, but there are no other factors yet. There's a good chance they will be there in the future. Now we'll resolve any penalties of broken hardware, but which is the gear symbol that I always want to call it gears or machinery. It's hardware. That's the name for it. So we resolve any penalties of broken hardware in the working block. All right. The working block, of course, is down here. The only thing malfunctioning is our O2 in the lab. And all that means is that if we were to go use the lab, we would have to spend an O2 from the general supply. However, we're not there right now. That doesn't affect us. And what we're looking for would be the hardware down there. So here, and here, you can see each of those has a different symbol. I'm not going to explain all those symbols right now, but if we get to the point where one of those is malfunctioning, then obviously I'll let you know what that particular symbol means. And finally, check mission sheet. Whoa, come on. Check mission sheet for special production rules. Well, we don't have any of those, so we're good to go. Next phase. All right, so mission log. So that time goes by, we have this rounds left up to 3. That says up to 3. That means it could be less. This could be the only chance we have. And we're gonna have to use one of our tokens, one of these guys, one of these pawns right here. So we can use one of our pawns to gain 1 morale token, prevent future consequences. All right, well, let's see what's flashing in here, by the way. So here are all our different objectives. Take the lay cable, special action on R1 northwest, R2 northwest, and then a recno antenna on R3 northwest. And then here's the collect 1 seed, and there's 1 greenhouse and 1 plant, or growing seed for each astronaut. All right. So back up to here. At this point, we are where we basically can do our various actions. Now, before I forget, I hope you all really like this kind of 3-table setup I've got here. This game takes up a lot of space. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it on the camera for you here, and this is what I came up with. So I hope you enjoy it. I really need to get myself a nice game table. That would be fantastic. So what we've got here, we've got these are different AOMs. We've got the robotic manipulator, the mapping drones, the autonomous logistics vehicle, and the automated research assistant. You can see each of them has a symbol that matches one of the working block areas. So the automated research assistant matches the lab, the autonomous logistics vehicle matches the working bay, the mapping drones matches the garage hall, and the robotic manipulator, the probe bay. So what these are basically extra workers for us that we can use for these specific actions. Since I'm playing a solo game, I get to use 2 of those per round, one for each of, essentially one for each of my astronauts, but basically 2 per round, and they can be used either for that specific action or they can be used for an action that does not require that doesn't have a specific type listed with it. Okay, so what do we want to do first? Well, I gotta say, my morale being damaged already, that is going to be a problem. My guys don't have morale tokens, so instead I think I am gonna make sure that I'm not getting wounded every turn because of this. So let's go ahead and I'll have the scientist is the one who'll be affected by it next. So we're gonna have him take care of that. And the scientist, so we're gonna put him here. He's gonna go to the crew quarters and unwind just a bit. You can see at the crew quarters what we've got here is if you use one of your pawns, you can either go +1 to morale or -6 to stress. Well, stress we don't need to worry about right yet, but we are gonna go +1 to morale. Now I really need to think about a way to get out here and start exploring this area, but also laying the cables. So to explore the area, we're gonna go ahead and you can see this is, each spot that you go out is gonna take 1 extra person. This symbol is a -1 pawn basically. So if I were to just use 1 pawn out here, that would just cancel each other out. It wouldn't be worth anything. If I were to put 2 pawns out here, well now I would have to roll the dice and it would not be guaranteed that I would successfully complete that. On the other hand, I could send her to the garage hall here. All right. And that would let her use this, what's this one called? This is called the Froggy. Send Froggy out there to right here. And that's what we're going to do with Froggy that's what we're gonna do for exploring. So Froggy right there is automatically worth 2 pawns out there. Sorry, y'all. I'm not sure what I'm thinking here. Actually, when I take this explore action, this pawn goes with Froggy out here. So now it's Froggy, which counts as 2, plus my pawn. So that's 3 total, minus the 1 for where we're at. And so now we have enough to be guaranteed to complete that action. All right, so the geologist still can use one of the AOMs, and we have 1 pawn left for each the geologist and the scientist. The scientist also has an AOM at his disposal too. So I almost think that we should go ahead and try to lay the cables there so we can explore and lay the cables all in the same turn. So how do we lay the cables? Well, let's take a look. Special actions, lay cables, spend hardware. I'm learning. Spend hardware, take the build action on an ROI with the red number 1 or 2, and then discard that token. All right, well, we definitely have, 4 of the hardware. We're gonna have to build, which is the working bay. Okay, so we'll take our scientist, and he's going to take the Scorpio out here. to this same location, because you can see we always complete these in this order. So the Explorer is going to happen first, followed by the build. So we're going to come out here, and we know the Explorer is going to happen successfully. The build right now has, you can see the Scorpio will provide one additional person for a build action. So we have the Scientist plus the Scorpio. That's 2 tokens, but we need 3 there if we're going to be guaranteed. So he's going to go ahead and use the Autonomous Logistics Vehicle token here as the AOM there to make sure that's guaranteed to work as well. So now we're left with the Geologist having one token left, and she can still use an AOM. So what do we want to do? Well, this system block up here is already at level 3 as far as the possibility of a malfunction goes, which when this starts to go, it really can throw some kinks into our plans. At the same time, so can the working block down here. We do have a malfunctioning spot there, so maybe we either want to try to bring the system block down some or try to repair the working block. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about oxygen in the lab. We don't need to use the lab at the moment. So let's go to the system block. And to reduce this tracker there, we need to go to the control center to manage the issues. So we'll put our Scientist there, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and we can grab any of them because this does not have a specific symbol assigned to it. So as I understand the rules, we can use any AOM. So we're going to put 2 of them there to try to reduce, to reduce the system block by 2 total. All right. Now that is everybody that can do anything. All right. So now that we have assigned all of our pawns, we're going to run through this, and you basically go from top to bottom, left to right. All right. So starting with a quiet place, resting. We're not doing any of that. Next, we move on here to the crew quarters. All right, where we're unwinding, we're going to move our morale up back to 0. All right, now over here in the control center, we've got these 2, both of them -1 wherever we want. We're going to go -1 up here and twice, which brings the system block back down to a 1, a very manageable 1. All right, so that was the Scientist that did that. Next up, we have all this out here, okay? So out here, first the garage hall. This was the Scientist over here. Oh, no, this right here, the Scientist and Froggy, who had a total of 3 pawns out there to guarantee that we have successfully explored that area. All right, so we have a chasm. Not the best thing in the world. This is going to be rough. So what this symbol right here means is just the standard symbol to indicate that you need an additional pawn to get through here. Just like is already on the board there. But now let's take a look at what else we've got here. Okay, we're going to put a blue cube out here. We're also going to put a POI token out here, point of interest. All right, and then this symbol right here means that by going on this ROI, whenever you go through this ROI, resolve an adventure does not affect the assisting player. So now we're going to resolve an adventure. And to be clear, it doesn't say whenever you go through this ROI. It actually says whenever you go to or through. So the Scientist was the one who initially went there, so she's going to have to resolve that. And that was a green action here because she was using the garage hall to explore. It was her. Okay. The Sky Above Us, Eve Spychalski, 5 May 2029. Log entry: as we drove under the starlit sky, images of the Earth started to crowd in my mind. I thought of the beautiful sunsets and the close ones I left there. Discard 2+ or else -1 morale. And see, this is the way it tends to go. All right, so we're down to 1 again. All right. Okay. All right. Well, now we have that area. Now I forgot I need to put out the blue token and the POI, so let's do that real quick. All right, so here we've got our blue token, our blue cube there, which is a resource that we can harvest at a later time if we want to be used in the lab for some research. And here's our point of interest. We have shock absorption, discard all tokens from one rover. Well, we do not have any tokens on the rovers, so this goes into our available spot in the cargo bay, and we will be sure to use that at a later time. All right, so now moving on to the scientist. He is out of here and he is completely ready to lay some cables. And basically we're going to take the build action, and like I said, we have 3 with the Scorpion plus these 2. Don't need any more damage done here than the game's going to do. Plus the scientist token and the AOM that's out there. We have enough. We're able to build successfully without rolling any dice and lay the cables out there. So when we do that, we also have to spend 1 of our hardware, and we remove this 1 token, and now that is done, which means we get to check it off on here. Come on, there we go. Take the lay cable special action on R1 Northwest. All right. All right, the malfunction phase. The first player assembles the pool of malfunction dice for this round. All right. Now, the malfunction dice are determined by the malfunction box down here. Right now, we only need the one for the working block. All right, so here we go. Just a 1, not bad. Now, if any of, where are they? Let me show you. Actually, there's none in the working block it doesn't like. But let's say that we were rolling the living block, and you can see up here how that has a +1 with this symbol right here. So if this was malfunctioning, or same thing here and there, then you would add that to the number of spaces that the cube moves up. But right now we're just moving up 1 on the working block, so that's still very manageable. So moving on down the checklist here, we already rolled the dice, move the markers up the corresponding malfunction tracks, and resolve malfunction effects. Well, fortunately, none of them went off the end, so we're fine there. All right, so now cleanup phase. In each facility, discard tokens from the exclamation space and move the topmost token from the arrow space to the exclamation space. So what that's talking about is if we had a token here, we would remove it, and if there were any here, it would move over. Well, we don't have any tokens on the board, so we're good to go there. We can move right along. Move everything from the pending area and to the available area of the cargo bay. Again, nothing in the pending area. Everything's already in the available area, so we're good to go there. Discard black markers from the used skills. Again, does not apply. Pass first player token clockwise. So now our scientist will be first player. And here we go. Day 1 out of 7. New task. All right. Log entry. So today, a new huge task begins. Log entry. We were somewhat neglectful in our duties recently. +3 stress. Well, that's not good. So that knocks us up to 5 stress. Okay. Come on. All right. And then advance the system block by 1. Well, I'm really glad I spent the time to knock that down last go round. Okay. Log entry. It appears problems begin. It appears something is jamming our signal. MCEI doesn't know we can hear them. They must be petrified. We need to reassure them somehow. All right, event phase. +1 stress again. Okay. The first player gains morale tokens according to the current morale level. And of course, we don't have any, so the scientist is going to suffer a wound. So here he is down here, suffers 1 wound. So he's in the same boat as the geologist now. We need to make sure we try to keep it above that heart. Moving on, production phase. All right, so all our production is still the same as it was. We're going to lose 1 food from our general supply, but otherwise everything is good to go. Our stress increases by the number of astronauts, takes us up to 8. Now you can see how that starts to really rapidly build up on you. We don't have any broken hardware in the working blocks, so we're good there. All right, so we're going to move on to the next to the actions phase. All right, so now in the actions phase, let's see, we've got marks. Come on now. It's having trouble focusing, I think, because it's another screen. Marks on the sand. So it'll take 2 tokens. Each astronaut gains 1. Okay, this could be worth it. You know what? We are going to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Who do we want to do it? I think we'll have the geologist spend both of her tokens in order to do the marks on the sand. So you can see this right here. Yeah. What we'll do here, I think we wanted to use just her. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to set these aside, and we'll be sure to resolve that momentarily. So the geologist still can use an AOM. The scientist also has all of his pawns still. And we really need to continue our exploration out this way. So we're going to have the scientist take Froggy and explore out here. All right, so that's 3. Now, right now we've got -1 here, -1 here, so it's -2 pawns. And what that means is that only counts as 1 pawn right now, which means we'll have to roll the dice out there. Now, we could go in and use his AOM, the mapping drones, to try to, which would then guarantee that we successfully explore out there. We also need to consider improving our morale again, possibly reducing our stress. I think I'm going to be okay with the stress 1 more round. Maybe we'll get it next round. But I definitely want to reduce or increase our morale. So we're going to go to the crew quarters for that again. The scientist is just a video game playing fool over there. The question is, which AOM are we going to use? And are we going to guarantee this, or are we going to do something else over here? You know what? I really, really, really want to get our morale into the +1 area here. So, well, except we're about to get 2 morale tokens, 1 for each of us. So we could survive with it being in 0 and possibly dropping back down. So you know what? We're not going to do that. Instead, I would really like to get the scientist healed up entirely. So we're going to take any of the AOMs, doesn't matter which one, and we're going to send him over here to the med lab. And even that, I don't like how that doesn't make a whole lot of sense thematically. But, I mean, it's what the game says. The game says we're able to, anything that doesn't have one of these specific symbols, we're able to do that with. So, I tell you what, though, just because that really bothers me a lot, the thematically sending the autonomous logistics vehicle in there, instead I'm going to do this. I'm going to send the mapping drone out here. The mapping drone is going to control Froggy out here. So it'll be the mapping drone and Froggy out here, and the scientists will go to the med lab like that. That makes me feel better, even though I'm pretty sure from a gameplay standpoint what I did before was legit. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong, because I'd like to know if I've been playing this wrong the entire time. Okay. Everybody's out there. Oh, wait, no. We have 1 more AOM we can use, because the scientist hasn't used hers yet. I think we should go ahead and lower something by 1 again. And I'm going to do the system block again. I really hate it when the system block ends up, and I just did that out of order. We can't do that yet. Okay, pop that back up. But that's what's going to happen. I really hate it when the system block gets out of whack, because it really starts to throw some other things off kilter. Okay, so here we go. We start with the crew quarters here. All right, now we could go -6 on the stress, but we're going to go +1 on the morale again. So that's the scientist's first thing. Now, and actually I think probably this should go, this is probably the first thing. I can't remember exactly what order, but we're gonna go ahead and do this now. So this is where we heard 2 tokens and done. Okay, so that was +1 morale token for each of our astronauts. All right, so here you can see 1 and 1, so they each have 1 now. That gives them a little bit of a buffer. Also, now would be a good time, now that we finally have some morale tokens, to point out we can spend 1 morale token to reroll any gray die with the geologist, or spend 1 morale token to reroll any blue die with the scientist. Next up, we've got the scientist again out here at the med lab, so he's going to heal, which puts him back up to full health. And then finally, the AOM over here has successfully managed some malfunctions, and the system block is back down to 1. Now we come out here, and what we've got is 1, 2, 3 tokens total, but it requires 2 just to get there. So we only have 1 out there trying to explore, which means we're gonna have to roll the green dice. All right, here we go. We got a check mark, and we got blanks in the rest. That is amazing. That means we successfully explored that ring. Let's find out what it's going to be. All right, here we go. Ring 2, we have another chasm. Okay, so another POI, another resource, and another event. Just going to put Froggy there and put the AOM back where it belongs. And then let's check out what this event's going to be. So this is the scientist this time doing the event. Again, it's an explore event. Let's let the camera catch up. All right, scientist. Downward slide. Log entry. As I drove, the terrain suddenly gave way. I was lucky to escape unharmed. +3 stress. Put this token on the ROI you were exploring. So +3 stress pops us up to 11 stress. And what that symbol, this is the token that's going to go there in the chasm right here. And what that means is that whenever a rover drives to or through this ROI, roll the green wound die at the end of the action phase. If you rolled the wound symbol, which is that symbol right there, the band-aids. Come on, there we go. If we roll that symbol, the rover is damaged. We add 1 block token to the X space right here for the rover we were using. And then at that point, the rover is no longer usable, and we have to use the build action to repair the rover. So here's the thing. I think that we need to go ahead and roll that now, because the rover definitely went to that chasm. So here we go. Got the wound die. Okay. So the rover is blocked. So that goes there. Now we do have this POI up here, but before we use it, I'm going to see what other POI we just discovered at this chasm. So here we go. Star skirmishes OST -3 stress. So I guess we got some kind of video game or something. -3 stress, I'll take that. Drops us back down to 8. Fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and use shock absorption, which, as a reminder, discard all tokens from 1 rover. So that unblocks our Froggy. Okay, so back over here. All right. And I think that's everything. So we did successfully come out here and explore. We'll be able to hopefully build or lay that cable next time and then get out here finally. But this is going to be tricky. Every time we come out here, we're going to have to roll this die. So next phase, assemble the pool of malfunction dice. Still only the working block. So let's do that real quick. Got 2 this time. That puts that up to 4. We're going to have to absolutely take care of that this next turn. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do with all our guys here. Moving on. Cleanup phase. All right. So I think we've got no tokens in any exclamation spaces. The cargo bay is good to go. No black markers on skills, and we're going to pass the first player token. So our geologist is once again the first player. So here we go. Soul 2 out of 7. System block goes up 1. Here we go. Emails. We have been getting some alerted messages. Our loved ones back on Earth are distressed by the news of a bad connection. To think about them worrying so much, hard thing to focus on the job. Each astronaut loses one morale token. Unbelievable. We just got these. Well, good thing we had them, I guess, but now they're gone. All right, the first player, discards. It's the morale phase, but fortunately, we are at 0 morale rather than negative morale finally, which means that nothing happens with regards to our astronauts. They're fine. Moving on to the production phase, still down 1 plant, so we lose 1 food, but everything else is still good. Increase our stress, that goes up to 10. Don't have any broken hardware, and no special production rules. All right, so, okay, here we go. We've got a new mission log here. Get yourselves together. Each astronaut gains +1 morale token, but we again have to use 2 tokens to do that. Those morale tokens are really important, though, and having them, obviously, I'll tell you what, we'll have the geologist and the scientist both supply 1 for that. So that's gonna be one thing that we do. Now, the working block I'm really concerned about, but we also, we can't just constantly be knocking that stuff down. What we really first need to figure out what we're going to do out here. We need to come out here and lay these cables for sure. We're going to need the autonomous logistics vehicle. By the way, I know that these 2 tokens look very, well, maybe, on camera maybe not as much. In person, these look very similar. But this is the autonomous logistics vehicle. This is the geologist. But to get out there, we're going to need 1, 2 just to get out there. And then we can use the Scorpio as well. So that gets us to 3. Now the scientist could come out and assist. Or actually, I may want the scientist to be the primary. That way, if some damage is done, because he has more health. But by doing so, that would guarantee that the cables get laid. I think that's the most important thing right now. I think I'm going to have the scientist come out here. He's going to be the primary token out there, the primary person doing it. He's being assisted by the geologist. Basically what that means is any negative effects are only going to affect the scientist. And we're at, so 1, 2, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 2, so that's going to guarantee that gets done. Now, we do have 1 more AOM we could use, and I think we're going to use that here to manage this again. And we'll probably use it on the working block to try to prevent it from going critical there. So first things first, get yourselves together. We used 2, so each astronaut gains gains 1 morale token. Done. All right. So here are their 2 morale tokens that they're going to get. And now next up, we've got the mapping drone coming over here doing a great job managing the working block and bringing that down to 3. Now it's not, keep in mind, that doesn't make it completely safe, really. That just helps a little bit because we are at, actually, you know what? Doing that really doesn't help. It basically gives me a 1/3 chance of not going critical. I almost think he'd be better off going somewhere else, really. But the only places really he could go Or you know what? Not going somewhere else. We'll just reduce the system block again. That's what we'll do. All right. So we're not moving him. He's still in the same spot. We're going to reduce the system block though, because look, on here we have one there. So we got a 1 there and a 1 there. So there's only 2 1s on here. If this hits 5, it's automatically going to go critical. So by reducing it to 1, there's only a 2 out of 6 chance that it only goes up 1 more, because everything else is going to hit it into 5. So dropping it down to 3 just does not seem like it's really worthwhile. Meanwhile, keeping the system block in check, I think, is really the better move there. I hope I'm right there. I hope I'm right. Okay. Next up, though, where are we at? This is all we've got left. Is this out here? So we are going to successfully lay those cables. However, oh, you know what? I never put our blue resource token out there. Let's get that done before I forget even longer. Not that I'm going to go after these guys, but maybe in a future campaign game I will. Now, of course, this rover goes out here, so we're going to have to roll. So it is now blocked. All right, so the Scorpio has gone down. I keep calling it Scorpion. The Scorpio has gone down, but not before successfully laying the cables. All these guys come off the board. He goes over here, and of course is our geologist, scientist, and the other one was the autonomous logistics vehicle. Now we did this, so we take the 2 off the board, and you can see we'll go ahead and check that off the list. All right, now I gotta say, I'm very happy with how much we've managed that stuff over here, the malfunctions over here, even though it's about to, the working block's about to go critical, things are gonna get bad, but we've been doing pretty well so far. All right, so let's go ahead and go next phase. All right, so the malfunction phase, of course, got to assemble the pool of dice, which right now is just the working block. By the way, that's another reason why the working block's not going to be so bad. These 2 right here, the living block and the system block, we're not rolling malfunction dice for them every time because neither one of their systems have gone critical yet. Neither one of their blocks have gone critical yet and caused a malfunction. Whereas the working block is we're going to roll that die every time no matter what. So if I can keep these other 2, the living block and the system block, under control, we won't have to roll their dice during the malfunction phase. Whereas even by keeping this one under control, by keeping the yellow under control, we still going to have to roll this. So here we go. A 3. So as you can see, that hits a 5. We have a malfunction. This goes back down to 0, but let's see what the malfunction is. Groping in the dark. That is perhaps one of the most unfortunate or maybe intentional phrases in a game like this. Anyway, all right, moving on. Obstacle, working bay. It was here somewhere. Put this token on the working bay space. All right, so this right here means you're going to have to use an additional person to use the working bay. So there it goes right there. It's queued up. All right, so now we need to, at this point is when we would remove any tokens from the exclamation points because we're moving on to the cleanup phase. And then we move tokens from the double arrow over to the exclamation space. So for this round, that is going to be affecting the working bay. Moving on to the next round, we're now in Soul 3 and only had 1 malfunction so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Normally things have gone much worse by now for me. So, but then again, I am playing it in easy mode now. All right, well, here we go. Working block is going to keep on malfunctioning. Come on. There we go. See, you can see that working block is going to continue to malfunction. It's going up 1. Okay. And now we've got a word of warning. Log entry. MCEI has just informed us about what they think might be seismic activity. They have a suspicious looking footage and want us to investigate. Looks like we'll be heading out soon. I find it very interesting that MCEI is still, I guess they're hoping we're still alive, so they keep talking to us even though we can't talk back. Put this token on the space of the garage hall. All right, so that means that whenever we use a rover, we're gonna have to roll the green wound die, but not until it's on the exclamation space. Right now it's just queued up. All right, so morale phase, we still have 0 morale, so no one has to get rid of anything. That's great. All right, moving on to the production phase, we lose another food. And we are going to increase stress up to 12 now by 2 more. There we go. All right, and back to our production or our action phase. So we're getting really close to this out here, but it is so dangerous for our rover to go out there. Not to, but I mean, okay, we have to explore this, so we're just going to have to deal with the consequences there. So, oh, but what about, now look at this though. We also have this. Prepare the rover, gain +1 morale token, prevents future consequences. It only takes 1 person to do it. Okay. So first, let's see, to get out here, to guarantee we get out of here, 1, 2, 3 tokens just to reach it, but then to explore it, we need a 4th. So we could do this. That gets us out there. And use the mapping drone. That would allow us to roll the dice. But if we fall behind now, especially because we might lose our rover here, so I'm going to guarantee that we get out there. So it's 1, 2, 3, but here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 3 is 2. That's going to be a guaranteed explore out there. Meanwhile, we need to repair this guy here. But the worst part of that is that in order to repair him, we've got to go to the working bay. And you can see that's going to take an extra person. So we'll have the autonomous logistics vehicle assist, but we're still going to have to roll the dice. But I'm going to do that because I also want to improve morale to start actually, oh, wait, no. I'm going to take care of this event because that also will generate morale. Come on now, man. I really hate that it's happening. So it's difficult. That'll generate morale token, a morale token as well, even though this will start generating morale tokens every turn. But if I'm able to do the same thing essentially right now by taking care of a event on the screen here, I think that's what we're going to do. All right, so that's everything is laid out. Let's start with this. So this is the scientist doing this. I know it's got her picture on there. That's just because she started it up. But the scientist is sending his guy in here. Gain 1 morale token, prevents future consequences. Done. Okay. So the scientist now has 2 morale tokens, which might come in handy at some point. So next up, we've got our explore action out here, which we absolutely do successfully without any problem because we spent a lot of tokens out there. So what do we end up getting? All right, ring 3. The plateau. All right, but still there's nothing crazy out there, so that is fantastic. Oh, but we can't forget we got to roll for our froggy to see if it got damaged while I was going out there, so let's do that real quick. All right, here we go. He's fine. Fantastic. Okay, so he's good to go. The planes are out here, or the plateau is out here, and we still have that there because that's where we need to build our antenna. Oh, but y'all, I'm forgetting. I don't think I did this last time. I know I didn't. We've got 2 events, and you know what? Just to try to even it out for me not doing it last time, I think I'll go ahead and do an extra one. Even though there are 2 adventures out here, when you do a single action, you would never normally resolve more than 1 adventure. Okay. Now, since I forgot to do it last time, I'm going to go ahead and resolve 2 on the geologist. I believe it might have been the scientist out there last time, but it's just easier. Well, let's just do 2 to the geologist right now. These were both explore. Well, you know what? I do know the last time was a build action. So let's resolve a build adventure against her real quick, and then we'll resolve and explore. Not to fail them. Log entry. The team is hoping I'll be successful today. The pressure put on me is huge. Roll the gray check die, the gray success die. Own a success, +1 morale. Otherwise, -1 morale. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. All right, so +1 morale. All right, now we got to do the green one from this last time. A mysterious cave. In the distance, I saw something resembling an entrance to an underground tunnel. Decide ignore this place, click no, or examine it, click yes. Well, you know what? I am feeling adventurous. You went an extra mile to search this area. -2 energy. Okay. The grotto is fascinating, full of interesting specimens. Gain 5. Wow, morale tokens. Yo, that is huge. That will be so fantastic. It really gives me some leeway with her in regards to morale and other things. I mean, that's just really, really good. So, well, here's the crazy thing. I did 2 adventures that time to try to penalize myself. Ended up helping myself with both of them, which is pretty unusual. All right. Anyway, this is really working out pretty well. All right, so over here now, we've got the working block. This is the last thing we got to do. We're going to try to repair this, our Scorpio, okay? So we have to roll the dice, the brown dice, for the working block, or I'm sorry, the working bay. Success, we got it, but we also have an adventure, all right? So here we go, the scientist with the brown broken container. I was moving the containers this morning and found a nasty surprise. Discard 1 chosen available upgrade card. Okay, now actually talking about the upgrades just reminded me that it doesn't change anything that I've played so far because I've been playing as if it was in there. When you are playing with one player, you have the auto scanner already out there, which means that no medic is required to take the heal action. You saw me use the heal action earlier, so obviously I've been playing that way anyway. So, but that's an upgrade that starts in play. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to choose to get rid of. The reconnaissance satellites. Draw 2 ROI tiles when you take the explorer action. Keep 1, shuffle the other back into its stack. So that is now gone. All right, so now we will continue. We did successfully complete this the repair action, which means the Scorpio is back to full strength, or well, is back to functioning. These, of course, come off the board. Okay, and that is everything. So we're going to go into the next phase, the malfunction phase. All right, we still only need the working block die for the malfunction phase. Moving up 1. So that's at 2 now. And y'all, I really cannot believe how much of our control board here is still in the green. I mean, everything other than what we started the game with is still green. And that's really just, I'm really surprised at how well we're doing here. All right, so now we're going to move this. We're in the cleanup phase, so this moves to here. And this comes off the board. And we're moving into Soul 4 out of 7. All right, so the living block is going to increase its malfunction track up to 3. And we've got the hurry up event. All right, so log entry. Okay, now we really need them to know the drop coordinates. Time is running out. We're starting to get a little panicky about the whole situation. No effect. All right, now the morale is at +1 up here, which is fantastic. The first player, well, of course, the first player has tons of morale tokens as it is. Our geologist over here, but she is getting an additional one. All right, and moving on into the production phase. We still only have the one plant, so that goes down. And our stress is now going to go up to 14. Now, we probably do need to address the stress now because that is getting very high. And if we don't do something, we're definitely going to have an issue here momentarily. All right, so, but everything else is good to go here, so we can continue on. And you know what, I want to double check. Let's look at the mission here. So you can see 0 through 5. So we're still good as long as we get it done this phase or the next, or sorry, this day or the next, as far as building the antenna out here, then we'll be good to go on that without it getting, off track or anything. So we may want to ignore the event. Come on now. Come on. There we go. We may want to ignore this. We got to use a token to gain one. We really don't need those. The real thing we would worry about are the future consequences. But for now, let's just ignore that. Let's focus on first what we need to get out of here. All right, so it's going to take 3 tokens, three pawns just to get out here. Remember, we also have to deal with this chasm, which is going to cause a problem for our rover as well. We're obviously going to be using the Scorpio. Who are we going to take out there? And we've got an event here. I think we're going to send the scientist out there. He's at full health. The geologist is not. So he's got a better shot of successfully dealing with the event that he's going to have. All right, so he's going to use the Scorpio, obviously, to help with the build action. He's going to send both of his pawns out there. So that's 3 right there. That gets us there. And we'll use, of course, our AOM, the autonomous logistics vehicle out here as well. So that gets us to 4. That gets us to 4. We're going to have to roll the dice. Now, the fact that this is the 4th round, the 4th day, do we want to go ahead and send the geologist out there as well to make sure we build it? Or do we take the chance and roll? We don't have any way of re-rolling the brown dice if we don't get what we need. And to be clear, as far as the success goes, what we've got here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a 2/3 shot at successfully completing this, the building of this antenna. Let's think about what else we need to get done. We do want to try to get some of these over here, these seeds, because we are dwindling our food supply. We still got a good bit of food, so we're not super worried about that yet, but we are dwindling it. Oh, by the way, I just realized I forgot last time when I laid those last wires, the last cables, I didn't spend a hardware, so that gets us down to 2 hardware left. And speaking of which, let's take a look real quick. Let's look at the erect new antenna, spend an energy and a computer part. Take the build action on an ROI with, so no worries there. We've got plenty of both of those. I just want to make sure we don't need to do anything else. Oh, that's right. I did want to deal. Okay, so here, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. The geologist will come over here and go to the crew quarters to deal with some of that stress, but I am going to send her out here. The scientist is still going to be the primary, but that puts us now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns out there, which gives us a guaranteed success for building the antenna. So that is great. Now we have 1 AOM left that we can use, and we might as well go over here to manage, because managing the situation seems to be working out pretty well for us so far. So let's go. You know what? The robotic manipulator hasn't gotten any love. We'll throw him out there. Yo, I really hope this game's going so well that I feel like I almost worry that I'm getting a rule wrong that I've forgotten. So please, if I am, let me know in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and continue this. Okay, So first things first, the crew quarters unwind. The geologist going in there. She hadn't got any chance to play the games yet, so she went in there. Scientists was spending all the time in there. She now, though, instead of adding morale, she's going to de-stress. That's -6 of the stress, so that knocks us down to 8. Now, over here with the living block, the robotic manipulator is going to repair the living block just a little bit, okay? Now, for the big one here, let's see. Okay, now here we have in the garage hall this symbol, but we also have it out here. From what I understand, the only symbol that stacks is this symbol here, the one that makes it harder, or where you have to use more pawns. That's the only one that stacks, from what I understand from the rules. So I believe even though it's here and here, it's still a single action what I'm doing. Oh, wait. Actually, sorry, this is for exploring. I'm not even doing that action. I'm doing the build action. So this doesn't even affect me at all anyway. It is just the one. But like I said, just for future reference, I'm fairly certain if I was exploring, these two wouldn't stack and I'd only do one test on the Scorpio. So real quick, let's go ahead and test it though to see if it's going to get damaged. It is. So the Scorpio is damaged again, so we won't be able to use it after this, but we do get to continue on as we're going. Now, we do have a event, and it's a build event. Okay, and who's that? It's the scientist who's the primary. Recently, we've been struggling with keeping the generators working. Roll the red malfunction die and resolve its result. Oh boy. The red malfunction die. 2. All right, now that's what I've been trying to avoid, is that one getting up there. So we'll see if we can get that back under control. All right, but that's all that happened. And so now this has successfully happened. We pull all these guys back off, put them where they belong, pull that 3 off, and that requires an energy and some computer parts. All right, let's go on here real quick. Oh, there we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. So we obviously haven't done any of this yet, but we do have those 3 done. Next phase. All right, let's do this malfunction phase. Again, just the working block. 2. Woo! That's going to put the working block up to 4, so it is probably going to go critical again here in a minute. All right, and now this right here moves off. It's good to go again. So that was the cleanup phase. Mandatory mission objective completed. Do you want to proceed now to the next mission? Okay, so here's the thing. We can move on to the next mission, but we're in really good shape here right now. And we could still do some exploring here and here so to set us up to get these seeds in the next mission. Because this is day 5 coming up. And as long as we have completed this by day 5, then the cargo is going to land where it's supposed to land. So I think we're going to do one more round just to try to get this set up, get us set up good for the next mission. All right, now we'll see. Maybe things are going to go really bad here. We're going to see. But this is the best I've ever done in this game. So I feel like that's a sign that I need to push it a little bit more to try to get me set up even better for the next round. All right, so here we go. Mandatory mission. Do you want to proceed now to the next mission? Cancel. Day 5. Okay. Ooh, hurry up. All right. So this is from that previous event. Log entry. We decided to play it safe even if it means doing less. This round you can only declare actions that are automatically successful. Okay, well, that would be really bad if we were trying to get out here. That would be really expensive. But since we're just going to probably focus on these 2 areas, maybe not so bad. All right. Living block is going up 1. All right, so that means now that we've got the system block at 3, the living block at 3, and the working block at 4. No, you need to try harder. We had a little fight at breakfast. People were yelling at each other, saying that they don't do enough. If stress is at 12 or more, -4 stress. Well, it's not. It's only at 8. So I guess if it was up here at 12 or more, that would mean that we kind of blown off some steam with that argument. But I'm not sure that's how stress works in real life. Maybe it is. All right, so now morale phase. First player is the scientist. He's going to gain a morale token. That puts him at 3. Sorry about bumping the camera there, y'all. All right, so now, again, food is still going down because we don't have enough plants. Stress is going to go up by 2 to 10. Okay. All right, so we do have this event here, reconciliation. Each astronaut gains 1 event token. Now, I don't know if these events carry over from mission to mission, but this is going to be the last day, so I'm not worried about it happening in this mission. So I'm going to ignore this again because what I really want to do is, like I said before, try to get it set up for the next round. So let's see. We want to explore both these areas, or do I want to explore and gather? We could do that. Let's take a real quick look. Set up a new greenhouse. We could do that. Spend O2, take the build action, put 1 black marker in an empty slot of a new greenhouse. You now have 1 more space to plant a new seed. So we could do that and go in and explore an area here. Okay. All right. So let's make sure we definitely want to explore. And we can only do things that are guaranteed to work because of that event that's going on. So she's going to go here. Well, actually, no. The scientist will go here and explore with the froggy. Okay. So that's guaranteed to work. And meanwhile, as far as building that greenhouse, we need to take the build action to do that. And so we're going to have our scientist take the build action, and she'll use the autonomous logistics vehicle to go ahead and make that a guaranteed action. We do need to worry about these malfunction tracks. They can still cause us problems because they're going to be right where they are for the next round. So maybe we should spend the rest of our actions managing that for the next round. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So the scientist and the geologist, and then the scientist is going to bring over an AOM to help out. So that's what we're going to be able to pull down 3 on the malfunction tracks. Okay, let's see how this works out. First, we have the control area over here, the control center, and we can move down 3 of these malfunction tracks. So I think definitely the system block. I could either do the working block twice. If I do that to there, I think I'm going to also move the system block back down 1 as well. We're going to let the working block do what it's going to do because it's just, I think it's okay. I think it's better to maintain these than to worry too much about this. Okay, so now we've got the explore action out here, which of course is guaranteed to work. All right, so Froggy comes back, Scientist comes back. Let's see what sort of terrain we've found. We got ring 1 here. We have a geyser. Oh no. Okay. All right. So that, do I roll a die or is it an automatic wound? I believe it's an automatic wound. Whenever you go to or through this RI, suffer 1 wound. Does not affect assisting players. All right. So it is an automatic wound. That's really bad because we really want to go here to get these seeds. It does have 3 resources on it as well to try to attract us over there. But that means the scientist now has been wounded. So unfortunately he's at full health. So he'll just go to there. And now we have the build action, which is going to be our geologist, and the autonomous logistics vehicle is going to spend an O2 to build a greenhouse. So once we get a seed, we'll be able to plant it and all and grow and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. Actually, maybe I'm trying to remember if I can actually plant without. I can't remember if you can plant without the greenhouse. You just can't make it get all the way up to full grown. I can't remember exactly how that works. Doesn't matter. We have the greenhouse now, so it's really irrelevant. But that is our turn, right? That's our turn. All right. Well, let's finish this up. All right. So malfunction phase. Here we go. This is going to be our last malfunction phase for this game. So hopefully it doesn't hurt us too bad. I mean, obviously it's going to happen. Now, the working block is going to go critical. So that goes back down to here. And we get unreliable power supply. Complication. Emergency batteries deactivated. This part is now broken in the lab. Wow, the lab is taking some hits. All right, so now what that means is whenever we go into the lab, if we use the lab, we subtract 1 energy and 1 oxygen from our general supply. Cleanup phase, we're good to go there. All right, so here we go. Mandatory mission objective completed. Do you want to proceed to the next mission now? Okay. Well done. Thanks to your skill and knowledge, a new antenna is now set up, fully operational. You are all very proud of yourselves, and so is MCEI. The plan and its execution were perfect. Now that the communication is secured, you can focus back on your primary task, colonizing Mars. Choose 3 items as your reward for completing this mission objective. Each astronaut heals 1 wound. That, yes, we definitely want that. All right, let's go ahead and do that, actually. Gets us back to full health. Okay. Now, 1 astronaut gains 1 of his or her chosen skills. Change the topmost red cube in the malfunction box to green. Ooh, definitely want that. Now we have no malfunctions here. What is happening? How am I doing this well? Guys, please tell me. I mean, maybe the easy, but I've played on easy before. I don't know. I'm really worried that somebody out there is going to tell me that I just really screwed some rules up here. I don't have to just put a huge asterisk next to this win. All right, so then +1, +5. Ooh, that seems really good too. We can always get skills later. We're doing that. So that means this goes to there. And then I'm not even going to drop them on there right now, but that would be 5 more electricity, or 5 more power and 5 more oxygen. All right. Mission accomplished. This is the first time you have beaten the antenna mission on the easy difficulty level. So there you go. And so from here, you could go to the next mission. We're just going to hit save game. And then this would walk us through the actual save process. I'm not going to do it on here, or I'm not going to do it on here, but I'll just show you. So basically, use the arrows at the bottom of the screen to cycle through the save steps. So I can go here. Save the levels of resources in the general supply by moving these around. And so I would basically take it. Whoa, what's happening? Oh, okay, there we go. All right, and so I've got 18 power. So I would take this and slide it over here. And I'll be honest, it could be a little bit tedious going through here and changing everything, but it does move you around pretty well. I have found that you have to kind of go to some certain spots that it doesn't tell you to in order to make sure that you get everything tweaked the right way. But for the most part, I don't know if there's a better way to do it. You know, I think it works decently well. So anyway. And so there we go. I cannot believe I did that well. I really hope it's not because of some major rule I missed. Please, everybody, if you see anything, let me know. But I'm pretty positive I'm pretty positive. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty positive I got most of the rules right. We'll see. Really, really good game, though. Like, I really set myself up nicely for the rest of this campaign. So just to be clear, every single cube you see on that board, everything stays the same going into the next mission of the campaign. The health, the malfunction tracks, everything you see there, all the things that are currently broken, all the things that are currently not broken, all that stuff is exactly the same. So it's really important to try to, it's not like some games where the end of a mission, you kind of start letting stuff go to hell because it's going to reset at the end of the next mission. That's not the way it works. It carries over. Everything matters. So that's my gameplay of First Martians. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at boredonlineboardoffline. You can buy t-shirts. You can support me on Pod Pledge. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.